Hello and a very warm welcome to this week's edition of The Real Talk. How was the week for you? Thank you for making time to join us. Our guest today is an entrepreneur. He is in the real estate space, but he's also an author. When we talk about the real estate, does he own like one of the tall buildings that we see in Kigali? Well, that's the reason we have him on the show. We'll get to find out to what magnitude he is playing in that sector. My name is Jackie Lumbasi. We are coming to you from Mythos Boutique Hotel. Welcome to the show. Our guest today is Fred Mugisha. Fred, thank you for honoring our invitation.
Pleasure.
How are you doing?
I'm doing very well.
So you're into real estate. Do you own any of the tall buildings around CBD?
No, not yet.
Not yet.
Yes.
But you're heading there.
The journey is there, yes.
Oh, that's good. It is a pleasure to sit down with you, Fred. Let us get to know you. Tell us about yourself.
As you said, my name is Fred Mugisha. I'm an entrepreneur in real estate development and mainly in construction services. And also I'm an author. I happen to be an author now, starting the new journey.
That's your first book, huh? Talking about authorship. Well, the reason we have Fred is because we want to know him, but it's also because just yesterday he launched his first book. It's called Mapping of Choices. In life it is said that choices have consequences. We will get to know what Fred writes about choices in this book. So Fred, yeah, before you became the entrepreneur and the author, where does your life begin? Where were you born? What kind of family were you raised in? How many are you in the family? What kind of child were you? The stubborn one, cheeky one, or the easy child?
It is really a real talk.
It is a real talk, exactly.
I was born and raised in Nyamirambo. Nyamirambo, and we are 8, so I am number 6.
Okay.
The family I was raised into is just a competent family. So every one of them, they only have one thing in themselves: to deliver. Whatever it is, deliver. So that's mainly about...
Is it because somebody talked to you people about delivery? When you say deliver, what does that mean?
It was our style of our father. He used to live like that. He was just a serious man, and whatever something starts, it has to end. And whatever you do, finish it in a small time.
So you had a very strict childhood, eh?
Yes, we did.
Do you have any childhood memories, something that you can share with us so that we can get an idea of how strict your father was? Is it the kind that would ask to see your report card, and if you hadn't passed, he would send you outside the door, go kneel there until midnight? You know, paint a picture for us, for somebody who didn't live with your father in the same house. What do you mean when you say he was a strict man and hell-bent on seeing you deliver?
He was a tough guy, but also a smart guy. So every time when we went to school, we just knew that we are sent, but when we come back, there will be another evaluation at home. So he would simply just go on every item saying, how did you get this, and how about not this, how about not this? So, but he was also saying it because he used to really do great at school. He was like, you have only one job, it's to just be at school and answer. The question you answer. So that
Pass the exams.
Pass the exams. That was one of it. But also when we were even at home, if he sent you or he give you a task, he was like an introvert part of. He was like an introvert. So if it is A, it is A. It's not like A, B, or maybe B, C, closer to A. It was A. So through all that and the other small accounts, is just like, for example, when we were just playing, it was okay to play. But also when you play, either try to be, how can I say it? Like he did not like any fragile person around. Mentally.
Mentally weak.
Mentally weak, yes.
Yes.
He hated that. Yeah. But the mom was very nice and sweet.
Oh, yeah. So good cop and bad cop.
Yeah, so we had to balance in between.
The easy one, yeah. Did they allow you to visit relatives?
True,
no.
true.
The reason I asked that is because many parents that were or are very strict also keep their children around them, not allowing them to get exposed to parents in the name of, you will pick bad manners from there.
Their parenthood was very diverse. So we lived in every type of life. We could go to the village from there where they were born to also just exercise that type of life. We also come back home. That we also sent somewhere else far. So there was diversity.
Okay.
And we loved it. So we used to meet in the relatives. There was a lot of relatives at home every time.
Nyamirambo is a very busy area. I wonder if it was busy during your childhood as well.
We were just child anyway, so we were not that
You
much
didn't
aware.
even notice that congestion, eh?
We just like when you used to come out from Nyamirambo, people say you are from Nyamirambo. It was something, but you in Nyamirambo, it was not that.
Oh, you didn't?
You were not.
And I think that persists until today. When we hear of Nyamirambo, it just stands out, oh, you're from Nyamirambo. Like everyone knows Nyamirambo, I guess apart from the people that live within Nyamirambo.
True.
So how would you say that your childhood shaped the person that you are today? What are those traits that you got from your father and mother and you've kept them until now?
I would say that from my parents and from my also brothers and sisters.
And the neighborhood, the Nyamirambo
And the
neighborhood as well.
also. What I can say is how it shaped the character is there was an independent, let's say, character at home. Everyone would do their things in their own way, but they have to deliver quality in that way, in type of way. However, when I was also growing up, I said, I also have to bring something unique about me. What is it? And then I did not know what it is, till I just went to the secondary school. In what way? Because when I used to look, maybe you go to school, you get good grades, and then you come back, you are just a child and confused, illusions, but you don't know. But deep inside, you know there's something you have to bring out. So when I just went to the secondary school, it's when I started saying now that I will not happen to be. I have either to develop hobbies or find something to do to shape characters, because I know characters, you can shape them.
Yeah. It's not always that you're born with them.
True. Some of them.
Yeah. Going back to the family, were they like well off, and so you never really were sent away from school for school fees? Did you ever encounter some of those things? These are your parents raising 6 children. Did you ever lack in any way, or you were okay?
Raising us 8 children, we cannot say that we suffered.
Actually, I said
much.
6 and there were 8.
Yeah.
8 children, What were your parents doing? Were they businessmen? Were they government
my dad
employees?
was also an entrepreneur.
Uh-huh.
He was an entrepreneur, but in agriculture, in food industry, in different things. My mom, before she used to do just the nursing.
Yeah.
She was a nurse.
Okay. Did your parents ever involve you in their business?
No. By the time my father was active, I was very young.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, and by the time when you were already grown, he had retired. Had he retired, really?
He had already left.
Okay, so how was it then moving from that space to joining secondary school? And did you go to a day school, or was it
boarding?
It was a boarding school. And how was your experience staying away from that very strict observation by your dad? Did you change?
Because I'm also, we somehow also adapted to how it was. So we felt like it's just life and it's normal. So there was nothing like escaping or, so when I also
you didn't feel like a sense of freedom. Now I can do all that I want to do, because you never even imagined that you could do anything anyway.
Yeah, so it was not like going to secondary was like an escape, no.
Yeah.
We just went there, and because we were taught to have diverse and embrace whatever life offers to you or throws at you. So when we went there, I wanted to find out things, how the relationship works, how people live with each other, how can you mess up, something like that.
Yeah.
So at the secondary school, it was really interesting part of my life.
Okay.
I would say.
Do you have any memories from that
A lot of
season?
them.
Share with us.
Because
which school did you go to?
St. Joseph Kabgai, and also another place called Dondo di Remera Rukoma. It's in Kamonyi.
Okay.
But in Kabgai, there was
share with me one story. You know, secondary school has very good stories.
a lot of them.
A lot of them. Just tell me if you have any memorable story.
I remember one time we had a teacher for English. It's called Benjamin. So he called me. I used to always get the first marks in my school. And then
you were very smart, eh?
I take it. So he called me and then said, Fred, I would like to ask you a question. Then I came and I stayed with him. He was very deep in philosophy and literature.
Yeah.
He was extremely wise. And then he told me that, Fred, do you think like if we gather people, like old people in sectors, to come and be in the conference hall, do you think you have anything you can talk to them? I was just maybe in the limits and the mathematical things and just school things.
Yeah.
Then I said, I've never thought of that, but I think there is something I can talk about them. Then I said, what is it? I could not find it. Then he says, Fred, yes, be good in academic style, but there is also life outside.
Yes, know the world.
Then I was like, what's that, the life outside? Then he says, there is a language, a common language people speak outside here. And you can only know it through philosophy. It's my first time I heard the word philosophy. And I said, what is philosophy? Then he told me what it is, and my God, I was so stupid and empty. After he told me that, I felt big up. Then I said, wow, I don't know nothing. I have to read all that. Yeah. Because he challenged me to the point I started digging inside of me, and then I was like, wow, where is the earth even? Where did the earth even come from? How about the sun? Will it fall one day? Will it just go off one day? Such a basic questions. Yeah. Then I came to start digging. So whenever that curiosity snaps, it doesn't go off easily. It's just
you find things to read.
Yeah.
Yes, and satisfy that curiosity.
Yeah. So
did you have that meeting with the community?
No, he was making it like a metaphor only, simply. Okay. He was making it like a
good.
metaphor.
No, it wasn't going to happen in reality.
Yeah, he was simply questioning me, my understanding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it really got you thinking.
My God. I cherish that question up to until now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So is that when you started reading?
Yes,
you know?
that was like...
That was it, yeah?
When I was in, we call it like S4 or S5. I was in S4, senior secondary fourth year.
Were you inclined towards certain topics, or would you just read any material?
Reading whatever. If I see a cockroach, now, to my own definition, I do not know a cockroach. I had to read about cockroach. If I see a bird or a helicopter, I had to read about helicopter. If I see a tree, it's like, do I relate to the tree? Yes, there is a relation to the tree. Or like when we see stars, are they really pinpoints of lights in the air? Or there are other objects? Then I came to find they're extremely big. And then that is just, I started from there. Sure.
That's interesting. We're glad you're with us on The Real Talk. We are live on the RBA official YouTube channel, RwandaTV. Please go there and watch the program. But also share the links that we have as many friends as possible. Get this conversation. We're talking to Fred Mugisha. He's an entrepreneur in the real estate space, but he's also an author of a book called Mapping of Choices. We're getting to know more about him, but also getting to get deeper into the book. What does he mean by mapping of choices? What is he trying to tell us, and what lessons can we get from his experience and the book that he's authored? Please don't go away. We are coming to you live from Mythos Boutique Hotel in Kiyovu. Welcome back to The Real Talk. My name is Jackie and our guest is Fred. Fred, let's now move to your entrepreneurship journey, the genesis of it all.
I would say that I am also one of the people who was a product of the wave of the COVID. Because my entrepreneurship side was like, somehow like officially started after the COVID.
Give us that story in detail.
Because I've seen that everything can shut down.
I'm telling you.
So you had to have, I saw that I have to have a lot of passive incomes, at least to sustain that peaceful time, even if when the COVID
What were you doing before COVID? For you to learn that lesson that hard, what were you doing before COVID?
I was just simply finishing school.
Okay.
I just graduated around 2018.
Okay.
Around 2018.
So it didn't directly impact you, but you picked a big lesson from the pandemic.
Sure.
All right.
Though I finished that time, I was even working before. So but I had dream within me, and then how to achieve them. However, it's like I live in my own bubble. There is also another big bubble, which was like the country, and also the country belongs in another big bubble of the world. So the COVID came from the big bubble, so it had to shake everyone in between, and it was not left out. So seeing how things were and how it happened, I said, okay, I'm a person who like my time alone. Even the whole COVID, I was alone, and I loved the place. I loved the whole time, though it was very bad for everyone, but even the other part of living, it was not easy. However, it was a time to rethink a lot of things about me. So then I said, wow, I have to come out and I have to find ways to help myself and others, like either starting a business and help people around me and providing jobs, because I knew it is possible within me. So I would say that the main thing which really started it was the whole situation and breaking down the COVID consequences, how it went.
So then what enterprise did you get into? Fine, you have these lessons you've learned and you're thinking of moving forward. So what space did you get into and what did it take you to invest?
By profession, I am a civil engineer. So that's what I did mainly in school. So definitely the easy way was to be a civil engineer. But I also tried other things like selling clothes and a lot of other things. You know what, when you are finding yourself, you do a lot of things.
You do a lot of things, yes.
Yeah.
I used to plait people's hair. I used to bake cake. My father is a welder. I was managing his welding workshop, so I know what you're saying.
You do a lot of
Find
things.
yourself, oh yes, you do a lot of things.
Yeah. So how I went into the entrepreneurship, I mean, the construction is, I tried to come out with something different because the players were bigger for how it is, but the good thing, they also address big things. So there were also gaps in between. So my target was trying to find a niche in between, so that like you also try something you can fit in. So mainly what I did was to starting something small, providing services as easy as that normally, doing things for people and for the other big companies, and then it grew by time.
What services were you providing?
For example, paintings, doing tiles.
You would do them, the actual tile fixing?
Yes.
Or would you supply them with the tiles and supply with the paint?
All package.
You
all
would
package.
sell them the paint and
Yes.
do the painting yourself?
Yes.
As you sit here, you can do that?
Yes.
Oh gosh. Like you can plaster the wall, you can fix the tiles,
Normally we can build the house.
You can build a house. You know, somebody can say I'm a civil engineer, but in actual sense, they only do the supervisory role. You know why I'm asking, yeah? Yes,
true.
somebody goes to a construction site. There are people at the construction site, but not every one of them is doing the actual lifting and placing of blocks and bricks.
When it comes to entrepreneurship, or where you are the entrepreneur of that, you are leading that team, for example, you have to do all that.
So did you register a company?
Yes.
Okay. You registered a company, and when people would come to you, you'd actually do the real work.
True.
Okay.
True. We started just small like that, and then later on it became bigger, because I saw that the construction sector had a bad background. People was not looking at it in a good way, because there is a big transaction of money, so the trust was not there, something like that. So my company or our team, we could only sell honesty and character, because everyone can build, but not everyone can give you the good characters and the honesty the client was looking. Something, we build your house, but again, we come to the birthday of your son the next Tuesday. So there was like the relationship part and the business part.
You wanted to respect that, yeah.
So that like you feel okay as a client, and also as a business, you also feel okay.
Yeah. A question that has always bothered me, now that you're a civil engineer in the real estate sector, why don't we have condominiums or small houses and apartments for beginners? Affordability is quite an issue here. We don't have affordable housing. Why is it that you sector players have not thought about us? Because not everyone is married with 3 children.
True.
There's some single people, we just want a single room. We want a single room with a bathroom and a kitchen.
True.
Why aren't you thinking of that? Is there something that hinders you from making such investments?
As we speak, we are working on that. It's also one of the things we want to address. Everyone on
You've
my
also
team,
seen the problem, huh?
Everyone on my team,
Yeah.
we grew up like wanting to find a good place in Kigali.
Good.
But you could not find it.
But you could not find it.
You have to go in a peri-urban areas, or if you find it, it is big, does not fit your lifestyle. You are just one guy or one lady.
And not just big, but very expensive
And then
as well.
it's expensive
Your
again.
salary is 150.
True,
You want
true.
to live well.
True.
You cannot on that.
True.
Yeah.
So we are also trying to develop a concept which is going to fit in with especially addressing that time myself, addressing that time for myself.
Important. Yes.
So that like you come in a good place, affordable place, and also in a good neighborhood.
I hear you.
In a good neighborhood. So that like if you have to say you live in Kimirongo, it's okay. but it's not that much expensive again. It's something you can afford.
Yeah.
So we are addressing that, and I'm very sure there are also other people who are addressing that, though it is not that much easy because there's a lot of factors being involved, and also it has to also to go parallel with the industrial sectors. For example, if they have to produce things locally, and then they get incentives, and the price just goes down, and then because it's like a harmony. If it's expensive from the start, it gets also expensive at the end as a product. So, but we are working on that to provide there.
Oh gosh, I wish you could. I would be very, very happy.
True.
And you know, as you've said, you think about yourself, but I also think about me as well. When you go to other cities, go to Kampala, you go to Nairobi, Dar es Salaam, you'll find university students can even collect money and stay together, 3 of them in a nice little small places. They'll be able to do it, but here it becomes a problem. So glad that you are.
We are normally addressing like 3 categories. There is the family. Me as an entrepreneur, there is something I always don't like personally, which is also what I address. If, for example, the newlyweds people, they marry today and then they just immediately go into loans and a lot of things which don't really support them financially. Rather just put them in a big loop of not going ahead. So what we sell them, or because we also do houses for sale, what we sell them houses to be able to they buy it, they go into business right away, which means it's a house with a concept where you can also rent as you buy it. It has also some other units you can rent. So that package on a relative comparable amount, and also giving them answers. Where that like you can build your life, you can build your own development of the family development without suffering that much from the loan.
And the idea of paying rent for a house that you'll eventually own, you know, it's almost like what you're talking about, where there's a housing plan where you who can only afford to spend 70,000 on rent, that 70,000 is okay, yes, but you eventually will come and own this house. You will own it in the next 10 years. That sort of incentive. You give somebody the morale to keep working and, you know, and paying for it, knowing that it will be theirs eventually. That's good. You describe yourself as a hustler. I was reading the back of your book. It says, Fred is a Rwandan entrepreneur in real estate development. We go down there. He's a hustler, a go-to guy, and a man of action. Tell us why you describe yourself as a hustler. What makes you a hustler? You don't look like a hustler to me.
Because you don't have to look like one.
Oh. You don't even sound like one.
Because I believe in many other things. But also here, the hustler, it's not like you have to play games to get something. No. I believe in something quiet. We sit, we down, we make a deal. After the deal is done, you get what you want, I get what I want. Simply. You don't have to play games or appear smart or something like that.
You know the president of Kenya is a hustler. Ruto is a hustler, and when you sit down with him and ask, we've watched several of his interviews, he says the reason he calls himself a hustler is because he is the son of a farmer and a mother who never went to school, and he sold eggs, he sold chicken, so he tells you about real estate. It's not like he was stealing money from anyone, no, but the kind of, you know, small jobs that other people despise, humble beginnings. That is what makes a hustler. So what exactly makes you a hustler? Is it the selling of clothes that you did?
No. Not only that, but you see, how we are raised, even the social norms, not only in Rwanda, but all over the world, there is something which sounds very bad to me. Why do I have to retire when I'm 50 or 60? Something like that. So why do I have to live life when I'm 60? How about if I live when I'm 30? How about that? So there is a lot of sacrifice on that, because there was a time I was thinking, and then I said, I'm just trying to answer your question. So I thought of myself, and then I arranged all my dreams, and then I found that if I continue that pace, I'm going to need like 4 lifetimes.
Which you will not get.
Which you cannot get. A lifetime is like possibly if you tried well and God protected you, it's 8 years. So 4 lifetimes, like I don't know, 320, you cannot. Then I said, okay, I have to find a way to, at least when I'm about to die, I will die feeling no guilty. At least when you are that 80 on a deathbed, you will sit down and then say, wow.
I
can go in
lived.
peace. I try to live the full day. That means trying everything you can on every day. That is how I say it. And also, to have a big impact in our society, you have to have also other financial means. So that's why I say that part of a hustler come in, because you have to do anything, whatever legal, to try to make, to finance your dream, let me say, to finance your dreams.
Yeah. You've written a book called Mapping of Choices. Give us a background to this book. What influenced your decision to write the book? What are you trying to explain? Why should I take time to open that book and read it? What inspired you to write?
What inspired me to write the book is, normally I did not write it to be a book for publishing. I wrote it as a tool to help me. Because every time I wrote it, or every time I was reading it, I started reading and I lose myself. After losing myself, I come back only transformed and with more expansive knowledge about, in just a small circle of my life. So everything in the book is just like metaphors to help you see big things in a simple way. And then I shared to my friends, some of my close friends, and then the feedback was amazing. They would say, like, I've never read a book, but I could not stop reading this book. Can you please share it outside? Then I said, but this is just my tool. And then
I wasn't planning for
I
other
wasn't
people.
planning. Yeah. Even now, I'm surprised that people it can have a big impact on people like this. Definitely, it had a big impact on me. It is still even had. So the main idea of writing a book, normally, when he told me that, he says, Fred, I met one person, we talked a long time, and then he says, why can't you write a book? And then I said, and then I told to myself, why not? I cannot write a book anyway. And then I just went home, I sat down 9 hours straight, and I came up with the whole concept of the book. 9 hours. And then it took me other 9 days to develop, try to filter it.
Do you write about, you've said you just write philosophies. You don't write about yourself and your personal experiences.
No.
Huh? Do you have any specific reason for that?
Sure.
What is the reason for that?
For not writing myself?
Yes.
As I'm saying, the book is just a tool.
It was a tool for you.
It was a tool for me, and I would love it to be a tool to anyone.
Now, Fred, if you're writing a tool for yourself and you go back and you're reading, was there no time when you felt like documenting how you were feeling or what you had gone through in trying to maybe implement what you had read in the book? Like, I'm thinking if this tool really helped you and you're trying to analyze, I wrote this paragraph, I went back the following day and implemented it, I learned this, then I would come back and write how it really helped me. But you don't do that.
I don't do that. The reason why, there's a lot of reason for that, because
Yes.
even for the people I look up to when they write, maybe he wrote, it's been like 500 years when they wrote those books. But there's never, you don't see them anywhere. You just only entertain the idea and the concept, by which makes it more powerful, the message, because it applies to anyone. However, you are right, I understand. Most of the some of them I wrote them in third person, not in the first person, so that like if you are reading the book, you will feel like it is personally addressing you. You don't have even to know Fred. Simply know take the message with you. Take the message with you.
What is your favorite chapter or part in that book?
My favorite chapter is the third chapter, the influence of
third.
subconscious mind.
Third chapter is influence of subconscious mind when we make choices. And the chapter explains what first and second chapters have been referring to as unconscious choices, which are the choices that we make subconsciously in a manner that sometimes look like random choices generated from our pre-established form of thinking, belief, knowledge, logic, and tradition. I'm going to take time and read through that chapter. And then you say, to get that, let us refer to, it amazes me when we try to figure out the patterns in our daily life, in everything that we feel, see, do, think, and wish. If you can try to understand the circle of your life, you can find out that you act based on some sort of thinking or established long-term choices. What makes this your favorite chapter?
Normally, when you read the whole chapter, I convey what I'm going to say in just something like sliceable to chew.
Yeah.
Let's simply assume that this table here, this circle, this small circle, it is the boundaries of my understanding. Let's assume. Which means anything else behind this is meaningless to me because I don't know it and I will die without even knowing it. No matter how good there are, no matter how bad there are, I don't know them. So what's inside here also, which is where my understanding revolve, it may also be my whole mistakes or something good or whatever society throws to me to absorb, which means what's inside here does not qualify that it is good. So the only way...
It could be bad as well.
It could be bad.
Yeah.
The only way, it is simply to every day, to try to enlarge the boundaries of your awareness every day.
From
Because
that small circle,
you expand it
yeah.
step by time, which is, that circle, it simply shows it's an awareness. That means, for example, I may be doing something for the straight 1 year. Without knowing it, I took a journey or fail without knowing, because in my own understanding and the circle of consciousness, that thing does not qualify to be wrong, but I took the journey anyway.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm developing diabetes, maybe I'm developing an addiction, maybe something's wrong.
You took the journey anyway.
And then took the journey unconsciously or subconsciously, because what I have, I'm just being guided by my mistakes. So simply the whole chapter, it is there to show you that no matter what you hold, no matter who you think you are, always just try to expand your own awareness and consciousness, like your boundaries of own understanding. You may be wrong, no one knows. True.
You know, I commend you and a few other Rwandans that have in the recent past written books. You're doing a fantastic thing. You know, books are a good thing. Knowledge is power. That we've always been told. And it's even better when you're reading books that have been written by people you can see every day,
Sure.
whose life experiences
Sure.
you can relate to.
Sure.
And when you talk about choices, it is said choices have consequences. I'm wondering, from your point of view, what are the key areas of life that we need to take seriously when we are making life choices, when we have the opportunity to make a choice? Because again, there are certain things that happen to us in life that we have no control
Beyond our
over,
reach.
but there are other things we can foresee, anticipate, we can plan. So in your opinion, what are the key areas we should think of when making life choices?
That's a very nice question. Normally, according how I see it is, as you say, sometimes even the environment choose for you. So those are beyond you. Sometimes life itself may choose from you, because you do not choose to born in maybe Changugu or in Kigali. You just happen to be there. So that is beyond your reach. However, sometimes what we are also living is not fate, is or predestined. It is simply the consequences of our choices. So what I can tell everyone is like, which I also tell myself, is to try every time to see the end of a choice before you start to making it, because the end of a choice is always carried from its beginning. So it is always nice to keep the final image, of the choice along before you start the journey, because it will motivate you and it will pushes you. However, as we are saying, as a person, if I were to say to be right to choose about our choices, I would say try as much as you can to choose something you see in your end. What do I mean? Maybe make sure you make the right choices on your spiritual understanding. I would say that. Make sure you make the right choices, how you will leave this earth. Because when you really define it, how it's going to be, it has to be worked on from that time you define it.
Fred, what is the purpose of the book? You've sat down, taken time, and moved it from being a tool for you, and you've decided to share it with other people. To what end?
The purpose of the book is not answering any questions. It's not providing answers. It is simply posing questions. Whenever you read, you find out how powerful you are and how ready you can be and how strong you can be as a person. And then it poses you questions, which means when you read from the chapter 1 up to the last chapter, you will craft your own answers along the way to the question you will be posing yourself. For example, one of the questions is, we are our choices and yet we don't understand our choices. Simply. I am a product of my choices and yet I don't understand my choices.
Understand your choices.
So such a basic questions is what normally we are asking ourselves. It's what I'm asking in the book. So whoever intends to read the book, They don't have to intend like they're going to find answers here. I'm simply challenging you on understanding. So
Provoking them to
provoking you to look inside you and then find what works for you. Because what works for me is different from what works for anybody. And also what works for them, I cannot copy it and imitate it. No, it will break me.
So do you allow us space to write the questions? Because if it's going to be that deep and we have to ask ourselves questions, it means we'll have a pen there. So we have space to write the questions.
And as you want the book, all my books, when you look at them, when I read, they are written everywhere. Because I want that...
you don't leave your page clean.
No.
You're right.
I just like to put the remarks so that like if I happen to revisit it, I will know exactly how it hit me. So, and also that is one. And second, it is, it's not a book to, you have to read like a novel, where you just have to say, okay,
I've started on page 3 and I have to finish.
Yes.
Today I must go to get page 50.
If chapter 4 is what makes interesting to you, start from chapter 4, normally. That's how I also read. I read like that.
You don't start from page 1?
Yes.
No, we believe in a story being built up, so you
definitely,
go to page 1.
Definitely. I'm simply giving room of flexibility.
Interesting.
Because it will cause you a lot of curiosity to go on page 1.
Yeah.
Because I'm trying to avoid the formats. People have format of saying, oh, I have to start on introduction and everything. Yes, if you start on introduction and it's not interesting to you, it is not forced that you have to keep going. Now check on the chapters. If chapter 7 resonate to you, read chapter 7.
Go with it.
Simply. That's how even sometimes stops people from absorbing knowledge. Sometimes we want to go along the line. For example, something that even hard to grasp, but there is something which maybe resonate with your life in other chapters. Simply.
Go with that.
We can go.
Do you have any, as an individual, do you have any question that has deeply bothered you in all the years that you've been deep thinking? A question that has lingered.
Sure. The question is, if it's very subjective, anyone else will have their own question, but if the purpose of life is being born, go to school and get some money, and then marry or not marry, and then help other people and then die, if really the purpose of life was like that, it will be boring to me. That's according to me. So if you check the engineering behind everything, how the cells develop, and one cell developed by knowing I have to be a liver cell, not a skin cell. It has the instruction and the expression in it. So if the how when you eat and how the cells come together to take the food from the duodenum and takes it to the bloodstream, all that thing is not like a chaos. It's not random. It's something planned.
So where do you find the answer to that question?
You keep reading. You keep reading. Because
is that what you have done? Because this is a very personal question.
It's very personal.
I want to know a question that has bothered you, and you've said the question about life. Is life simply about being born and living and getting married and not getting married and giving birth to children and taking care of children and eventually paying rent and building a house and eventually dying? You're saying that can't be it. It can't just be life. So where did you seek the answer to that question? Is it then digging deeper into the composition of the body?
True.
Okay.
True. Not only on the body, because if you look at the star, you have to allow me to answer in its full expanse, the answer, because it encompasses a lot of things. You know, what makes up a star also makes me. For example, the star has hydrogen and ions. And believe me, I also have ions. I also eat ions from the meat and from other things. If you go to the doctor, medical doctor, sometimes they don't tell us in names. They may say, go and eat carrots and drink milk. But maybe when they say drink milk, they're telling you go and take phosphorus in you, because you need elements, the phosphorus. It's a chemical element to live. That thing also, it is in the star. The star is born and is dead. So there is a reason why. Also the person is dead and is born and dead. So the whole circle of life and how things goes, it's not simply just, it's like, assume the stage we are here on life is like 80 years, and assume it's like a stage. So the time before I was born, it is way bigger. Considering in scientific expression, it is billions of years. So when I am dead, maybe when I'm 80 or 85, it is also extremely big. So
So the time you leave,
do I really
is the
happen to
shortest.
appear in 8 years and then I leave like that? Something like that. Or when I'm just here, I'm going to, if it's a stage, assume it was a stage, and then they come to tell me, your whole time on the stage, you have been singing the wrong song, for example. So all that question, it reasons to me, and it makes me question myself and a lot of things about me and about life.
Before we look at 6 Qs, you say the whole idea of mapping your choices is not to perfect your life as you live. Instead, it's to emphasize the point of making less of bad and predictable consequences you may have later in the future. I think that is almost similar to what you are explaining. Are geniuses made, or are they born, or are they made? Yeah.
I had that question also with me. And I struggled with it for a long time, because all the people I admired, they were extremely geniuses. However, I came to keep reading and find out that the person I admired most was not really a genius at first, according to the worldly statistics. He was called Richard Feynman. He was an American physicist. He just died in the 60s. But he died later, before 2000. When they came to make an exam for him at school, he just got average points on the IQ. He was very average. However, his work beyond academic, beyond the school was outstanding.
Excellent.
Outstanding. And then they answered him that, how are you so this much? And then when we examined your tests, you are an average person. Then he says, they told me I'm average. And then I went to say, can I change this? And then he says, I went to read. I read. I kept reading. I kept reading. Then I became extraordinary. So I also believe in that. They are born, yes, natural gifts, they exist. But also, you can also be made.
A parent can
Sure.
turn their child into a genius.
Not only the parent, the person himself.
Even the person himself.
The person himself, why am I saying that? You see, when we come to how we acquire knowledge, for example, if we simply assume that this blank paper, it is our knowledge, it is our brain. So one point, if we take a pen and then we pinpoint one dot here, it is one single knowledge we have, or information. Even if we put the 10 points here, it will look like nothing. You will even try to connect and you will not feel any connection. But if you continue putting points, you reach the point where one point is not having a place to be. So it is on top of another one, which means it will connect with another one. That's how we acquire knowledge. So that simple point of information, it is stored in something called snap. A snap is a point of connection in the brain. So whenever I want to know, why is the water colorless, for example, I simply had a curiosity, but the rest is biology. The biology will take care. So the brain and the work, the nudging tree, how they connect to each other, that is just the biology part. The only thing is just have the curiosity and feed them. So I would say geniuses that are born, definitely, because natural talents exist, but you can also make one, or you can also try to be one. Definitely, the another problem is, you see a genius maybe in taxes, and then you want to be that person in taxes. You cannot be. Maybe you are good with wood. So
It could be something else.
do wood.
Identify what you're good at
Sure,
and excel at that.
Sure.
Thank you so much, Fred. We will be back. Well, let's get to know Fred's 6 Qs. This is the Real Talk. If you have a question or a comment, please let us know. The hashtag is The Real Talk. We will be online. Both Fred and myself will be online. We will respond to your question or comment. You're thinking and scratching your head over life's choices. You're struggling with the decision that you made or you didn't make. How do you overcome that? Well, this program is meant to help you find a solution. So you can reach out to Fred and he'll help you with whatever it is you're dealing with. Please visit the Mythos Boutique Hotel in Kiyovu. In case you're around, they do have a corporate lunch every weekday, but they also have such spacious rooms. You could come in for a staycation or even just a short ceremony that you have. Let's have a look at 6 Qs. Fred, question number 1. What is the best life advice that you have ever received?
I happened to meet a professor one day. He was a law professor, and then he asked me what I do like to do, and then I also added reading, and then he says, don't ever stop that. You will see the benefit when you are in 50s. So whatever happens, I'm just expecting a big thing in 50s.
And as you wait for 50s, you're reading.
You are keep
Constantly
reading. Yes, yes.
What lesson has adulting taught you?
Finding out things and that choices are expensive.
Choices are expensive.
It may not be expensive to you because you still have maybe too much life to waste, but it's expensive to people around you.
That is so true.
True.
Wow. And what has been the highlight of your career so far?
The highlight is it is possible. Simply, it is possible. You have the thing you want to put outside. In all way possible, bring it outside. Drink with it. Sleep with it.
And you've done that in your field?
True.
Things worked out?
True. Sleep with it, drink with it, train with it, whatever. Have it.
Yeah.
The
What
brain
is your
will find
favorite hobby? The thing that you do during your free time?
Training, exercising at the gym, and reading also, and cooking.
And cooking. Oh, that's good. You have a wife, you have children?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Yeah.
So you cook for yourself or you cook for your siblings and
Just
your parents?
tell people to come around and cook for them.
That's good. And then if stuck on an island, what would you desire to have between a book and an endless supply of movies? What would you choose?
Well, it would be very nice to have endless movies of Hulk and Superman fighting, but you will get bored of them.
I think I would choose more. Okay, maybe I should have given you an option of documentaries.
To me, I would feel bored because I like superheroes.
Uh-huh.
But I would love to stay with a book, and also that book should have to be Bible because the Bible is just a collective, a lot of...
Yes.
Yeah,
There's Superman in there and like all these stories.
all beyond.
And lastly, what would you say to 20-year-old Fred?
Wow.
I'm sure he's not very far off.
I wish I can go back. And then it's just a few years
This is a few years ago.
I wish I can just go back and tell him that.
Yeah.
Wow. I would simply tell him not to screw up.
Not to screw up.
If you don't know things, ask. Simply. Simply. Because people are ready to answer you and are ready to help you.
You know, there's a Swahili saying, kuuliza si ujinga.
True.
Yes, it's not stupidity. Asking is not. So when you don't know, ask. And somebody is always there to give you the answer.
True. I would simply just I would tell him that. Ask.
Yeah.
And people will answer you.
Yeah. Thank you, Fred. Where does somebody find the book? Now that you've launched it and it's out there, do we have it in the bookstores? An e-copy for one who wants to read it online?
If anyone goes on fredmugisha.com, they will find all the information there.
fredmugisha.com. Please visit fredmugisha.com for all the details about Fred, his work, his book, and every other detail about him. Thank you for making time to join us on the show.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
It has been a pleasure having this conversation with Fred, and we do look forward to hearing from you. Share with us your thoughts on the Real Talk. Our desire is to bring you as many life-changing conversations as possible. If you have somebody that you want to see on this seat, could you please recommend? Reach out to me at Jackie Lumbasi on Twitter. We'll have Fred's Twitter handle as well. Let us know which person you want us to host on this show. We will look forward to seeing you next week.